The First Alert Weather Team has a new member. You'll get to meet him. We'll talk with our first candidate for one of the council district races in Baton Rouge. But we'll begin with the city of St. George. Roll it, Kirk. Well, how about you? Welcome back to the show. Let's start tonight talking about the city of St. George with the Interim Mayor Dustin Yates, who is here. And there's a lot of news that's been happening over the last couple of weeks with the city. The government is starting to fall into shape. And so I'll begin with the very generic question. Where are we now?
Sure. I think we're right where we need to be, Clay, to be honest with you. You're right. Things are starting to roll ahead. We have our Planning and Zoning Commission has been appointed. We'll approve something on the next council agenda where we'll be able to take over our inspections and permitting part. We kind of talked a little bit about that earlier. So hopefully by the middle of October, not hopefully, but the plan is by the middle of October, the city of St. George will have complete control over our permitting and inspections and our own planning and zoning governance. So that's super exciting. Other than that, we're still adopting ordinances and doing all the things that a new city has to do. I know everybody knows that the city parish proposed their first intergovernmental agreement last week, which we're excited about.
Let's talk about that.
Sure.
What are the details of that?
So some of the details on it are deal with the transition of services. As we incur our own services, dates when those existing services would roll off, and part of it too is money. We've talked about in great detail. We have sales tax money that's generated in the city of St. George, and one of our goals, obviously, from the very beginning is to start flowing some of that money into the city of St. George so we can start building up our services and all the things that we have to do as a city.
So in terms of, you take control of the roads and all of that stuff that cities maintain. Talk with me a little bit about that. There is the construction going on Behringer Foreman, where that bridge was hit by some barge a few months ago, and then there's other things happening within the area. Talk about road and infrastructure work that's happening within the city limits of St. George.
Sure. You have a lot of the work that's happening right now. The bridge, for example, that's a state thing, and hopefully, and I know that's close and dear to you because you live there and your business. That's a cut through. That's where I work too, obviously. So hopefully that'll get fixed sooner than later. And some other projects that are going on. We're still in the parish, as we've said from the very beginning, and because we're still in the parish, we're still involved in the Move BR plans and projects. So they do have some road work that's being currently done, and in the very beginning phases of planning for that. That'll continue.
Yeah. A few days ago, you and the council presented to the public what the government will look like, and you and I were talking before we started the show about the council manager and the form of government. Explain the form of government that will exist in St. George.
Yeah, sure. So just to back up just a hair on that. In order to establish our own government as a city, we have to go through the home rule charter process, which most people don't understand what that means. So what I tell them is we're creating our city constitution, essentially what we're doing. So we appointed a commission of people that live in the city of St. George to kind of go through that process. It's a great group of people, some professionals and governmental officials, and just
Jason DeQueer on that.
Jason DeQueer is on there.
He's a good man.
Love Jason. He's doing a great job. So anyway. The crux of creating your own government is what type of government do you want to have. So in the city parish, you have what is known as a mayor-council form of government. You have a standalone mayor, you have your legislative body as the council. Well, in the council-manager form of government that I think the group is leaning towards, and to be honest with you, this is the same thing that we've kind of promoted the entire path of St. George, that we were going to do things a little bit differently, and part of it starts here. And essentially, the council and the mayor collectively together go out and they hire somebody or somebodies that run the day-to-day operations of the city.
Yeah, you know, one of the things that's going to be different, and you've talked about this before, is you're going to contract a number of services. You're going to contract out a number of services, and we got about a minute, and we'll come back and continue. But talk a little bit about what that looks like.
Sure. So once again, traditional municipal government, you create a lot of departments, you hire a lot of people that work for that particular municipality or governmental entity. Our idea is to competitively contract out these services. We believe, and we believe for a long period of time. In fact, most governments now are moving in this direction, even the city parish, that they find it's quicker, better, more efficient, a better bang for the tax dollar to go out and competitively contract with private sector companies that provide traditional basic municipal services.
So we'll continue with the mayor talking about what the city of St. George will look like in operation as things are ramping up. We'll talk about the money that is being, you're waiting on the money right now from the city parish, and the relationship with the city of Baton Rouge. And still to come, our first candidate interview and the newest member of the First Alert Weather Team will talk with you on the show. Back in a moment. Continuing our conversation with the interim mayor of the city of St. George, Dustin Yates, talking about where we are in the process. We went to break talking about the contracting out of services for the city. And one of the things that you and I talked about a few weeks ago, it wasn't on the show, but we were having a conversation. As you said, once everything got going, one of the first things that you were going to do was cut the grass.
That's right.
And that's a big deal for a lot of people. Talk about that.
Sure. I've said it numerous times, including the lunch that you and I had together. We're going to pick up the trash and cut the grass. Local government is about providing basic local services to the community, and it doesn't get any more basic than cutting the grass and picking up the trash. And if we can't do that well, if we can't do that to the standard that people want to see in a great place where people want to live, then why focus on anything else? It's a basic service that can be done quickly, and people can see immediate impact.
You know, it's almost like the broken windows theory, but relating to community pride. Like clean places tend to, draw more pride out of you. You take pride in something that looks nice.
I agree.
And so let's talk a little bit about the money. I know right now that there is a back and forth between the city parish government and the city of St. George about how much and when.
Sure.
So where is that right now?
Right. So the mayor's office sent out their first stab at an intergovernmental agreement last week. Like I said before, we're excited about it because it's a step in the right direction. We'll submit a counter to them next week based off of some of our analysis of it. Look, it's a process, and it's not going to be perfect on either side of the process because we can say that this has been done before in Central, but it's never really been done on this scale. The important part is that we get in the process, we start it, we get it going. Because a year from now, it's really not going to matter. 2 years from now, it's going to matter even less. But the important part now is to start and get that ball going.
I know that you've been working with the city parish government, and look, you know how this goes, Dustin. There are a lot of people who ascribe a lot of personal slander to leadership, one way or the other, right? I don't believe there are people in the city parish who just flat out don't want to do this, because there is no path to not do this. You got to do it. And then on your side, I know that you represent an area that you want to thrive. So what's the truth about the energy when you're in the room with city officials?
All I can do is be perfectly honest with you. I've had numerous conversations with the mayor president. I felt like they've all been productive. I haven't felt all that much resistance. I'm not saying that it's gone exactly the way that we want it to go.
Sure.
But we're learning. Most of the people that are doing this have never been involved in anything like this before. So I said in the very beginning that we had to have patience. And that didn't just mean with me. That meant with the process.
It's such a good point, man. And the thing that gets me now is everybody wants a villain in everything. And look, I get it. There are officials in Baton Rouge who did not want this to happen. But it has happened. It's happening. So the best way to do it so that the parish as a whole benefits is to just do it, make it smooth. And my hope is that's what's happening. Is that what's happening?
Well, I believe that the process has begun in good faith, and I hope that it continues in good faith. As far as the villain, you're right. I think people feel like they need to blame somebody or something on everything. You're never going to hear that come out of my mouth because I don't believe in it, because it's not productive.
It isn't. And look, there is a lot that is happening, and some things there are things that are going to happen in this area that I think will benefit the parish. What's your overall goal in what St. George can contribute to East Baton Rouge Parish?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I can answer it pretty simply. There's not a week that goes by that I don't talk to young families, middle-aged families, older families that don't reach out to me and say, we're moving back into East Baton Rouge Parish because the city of St. George happened. Yeah. We lived there for 3 generations, and we left, and now we're moving back. So our hope has really never changed from the very beginning of our process. Mm-hmm. It was always viewed by some as something that it never was intended to be. Yeah. And the intention is to make a great East Baton Rouge Parish. Yeah. And we believe that we are a viable, will be a extremely viable contributor to future success of not just the city, but the entire parish.
Man, because you look at right next to us, Ascension Parish is killing it right now. They're killing it with people moving in, the school system, the development happening there, what they're doing on roads and infrastructure. They're crushing it. But we're the capital city.
That's right.
And to be competitive, we should lead this region in everything.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
No, I think you're right. I've never said this, but a lot of people have said that, East Baton Rouge Parish over the last 25 years has really helped Ascension and Livingston grow.
No doubt.
And I don't think it's really arguable at this point. And it's time for that to be different, I think.
Yeah.
It's time for us to really lock down and invest in all areas of the parish.
That's right.
Not just St. George.
That's right.
Because North Baton Rouge is just as important as St. George is. And so is Zachary, and so is Central, and so is Baker. Because we're all in this thing together. And I think we miss out on that, Clay.
See, that's what I'm talking about, because that's the dialogue we have to keep going on in this parish, that it really is about everybody. All right, Mayor, so before the end of the year, I'll get you back and we'll see where things are going. Appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate it, Clay. Thank you.
Our first conversation with a candidate is coming up next, and here's where you can catch the show on a very weekly basis. It streams on Friday, airs on Friday night, and replays on Saturday. Set that DVR, y'all. So, it's campaign season here in East Baton Rouge Parish, and one of our first interviews with a candidate for office is Tawana Harris, who's running to replace Lamont Cole in Metro Council District 7. I was calling it 2 during the commercial break. I don't know what's wrong with me.
It's got a lot going on, Clay.
I do.
I'm doing well.
I want to begin with this. Let's clear up the residency stuff, because everybody's wondering where you live. Tell me about this.
I live at 2100 College Drive, number 46.
Okay.
It's in the new district because we're running on the new maps, the new districts that the council has approved. So I'm in the district. Yeah. I live there. Yeah. My homestead exemption is there. My voter registration is there. My driver's license is there. So here we are.
And just for people who are not paying attention,
right?
The district map that will be in existence when this new representative is sworn in January will look very different than the one that's happening now.
Correct.
So there are people who are saying that you don't live in that district, you live somewhere else.
Yeah, so, I hear that a lot. But no, I am in the new district.
Okay.
The new map that's going to go into effect
in
January. And I do have a home in Zachary as well.
Yeah.
I didn't know you can only have one dwelling. According to the law, you can have many, as long as your homestead exemption is in the district that you're running in.
So if anybody calls you on that, you can say here.
Here you go.
Okay.
The condo has been mine for 23 years.
So you have been now Superintendent Cole, formerly Metro Council Member Cole's district administrator for his time since he was in office.
Correct.
You know the area very, very well. Why, and you wear a lot of hats. Why do you want to be on the Metro Council?
Well, Clay, the reason I want to serve the district, the good people of District 7, is because I love this work. Okay. I embody this work. I've been with Cole for 8 years, but I also worked for former C. Denise Morcell as her legislative assistant.
That's right.
So totally about 10 years. I have friendships, partnerships with City Hall. Our office worked closely with Fred Rayford, Joseph Butler, Reginald Brumfield, Trina Hall. We work closely with the mayor's office as well, Mayor Broom and her administration, and it's so very important, Clay, to have those relationships in place.
Well, I want to ask you, as a member of the Metro Council, if you're elected, what will be your philosophy? What are you going to do to maintain and improve District 7?
Blight, infrastructure, and community partnership. We've done a lot of work in our 8 years with blight. As a matter of fact, between condemnations and demolishing property, we have demolished and condemned over 300 blighted properties in District 7 over 10 years. So that's about 30 houses a month per se. So we are zoned in on that and the importance of it. And the constituents of District 7 let you know the importance of tackling blight and continuing the work that has started. Also, infrastructure. Spoke to Fred last council meeting, and the good news is we're going, the next phase of Move EBR, we're going to, Fred and the folks with Move EBR is going to make certain that we're going to take care and handle North Foster because we get tons of calls about North Foster. God. The bottom of your car feels like it's falling out.
You could bathe puppies in some of those potholes.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's
that
good.
is on the list for this next phase. I'm excited about that. So we're going to go from Florida Street all the way to Airline Highway.
Listen, because the Inspiration Center has started construction, and that's in District 7 too. How about that? How about that?
I'm excited about that.
Where can people learn more about your campaign?
Oh, you can go to my website, harrisforcouncil.com. Facebook, we're on Facebook. Tawana P. Harris for Metro Council District 7. We also, you can email us, info@harrisforcouncil.com. We're excited to be here, Clay.
You're the first up in the series of interviews I'm going to have. Tawana Harris with the Butterfly Society. She does phenomenal work for domestic violence victims. She does great work in the community, and you learned where you can find out about her candidacy. The C-Suite drops this coming Monday, and unfortunately, Johnny Asian is the guest. Sorry about that. Well, there's a new member of the First Alert Weather team here at WAFB, Henry Blake's, a product of Southern University and Jackson State.
There it is.
And he's joining the team, and you'll see him on the weekends. And we were talking during the commercial break. You spent some time in Mississippi.
Yeah.
And then you went to North Dakota.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. When I started out at Southern, Southern alumni, also Jackson State alumni, but that's where I got my meteorology degree from, Jackson State. Interned at WFB in 2004, 2005 with Jay and Steve, and they got me in the door, let me know the ropes, and that's when I was encouraged to get the degree in meteorology. So that was at Jackson State. I interned there at WLBT, one of our sister stations. That's in Jackson, Mississippi, and after that started applying, and I ended up in North Dakota.
How long were you in North Dakota?
Since I've been there for 13 years.
You were 13 years in North Dakota?
Yes, I went there first, and I went there in August of 2011.
How'd you survive on the food up there?
They have good food. Don't get me wrong. They have good food, but it is not the same as here. Sometimes you have to remind them, can we put a little salt or something on it? But the seasonings, the foods, it's nothing like here. But they have some great food. They have lots of good German food.
Oh, yeah, that's really attractive. So what led you to meteorology?
Hurricane Andrew. Andrew, back in 92. Yeah, absolutely. Because back then, all I knew, it rained. I remember the one time it snowed, and I really didn't know anything about weather at that point. And a hurricane was something new to me. And all I knew was that we didn't have school, and we had to prepare. But after everything that happened during Andrew, it kind of triggered my interest, and I've stuck with it ever since.
You know, I had Steve and Jay Grimes, who was here recently, the former chief meteorologist, are friends of mine, and we often talk about how important weather is to this city. That, like,
it is
for everybody when you want to know what the forecast is, because it kind of helps you predict what your day is going to be like. How do you look at the importance of what you'll be doing for the people who view WAFB?
A big thing, especially since it's going to be over the weekends that I'm doing. Everyone has plans. We want to get out.
Game season right now, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the biggest part right now, football. Yeah. And everyone's going to be tailgating and wanting to make travel plans, especially for if we're here or even if we're having an away game.
Yeah.
So we got to make sure we know what's going to be happening. Rain, is it going to snow? Is it going to flood?
Right.
Or is it going to be nice? Or even if we need the ponchos or just a light coat.
Hey, let's look at those photographs of man. Yeah.
You see that?
Yeah, because at first you were like, I had to ask in the back when you said Mississippi, and then I saw that snow, and it's like, where does it snow like that? And look at that.
Yeah, and all of this is in Bismarck, North Dakota, and a few of these, like this one, that was in, I want to say 2013. I was still working the weekend shift at that point.
Really?
And the crazy thing is that there was no snow like around 8 o'clock that morning, and then it just started coming down. And we had a time getting my car out of that. But this is the kind of stuff that we get in North Dakota during the winter time on a regular basis.
Well, there is what we call in the business, no chance in hell that I would live somewhere with that much snow.
Yeah, but now the snow is nice. I got to admit,
okay.
I personally enjoy the snow. I enjoy the blizzards.
Okay.
I don't enjoy the 20 and 40 below wind chills. That's the part that's not the best.
Brother, I'll take this heat over that any
Definitely.
day of the week.
Definitely.
Look at that.
You see, and all of that, I think that was the year, a couple of years ago, I think it was back in 2022, Bismarck had picked up like over 100 inches of snow in a couple of months. And it was actually a nice winter. Now, you're going to laugh at this, but it was a nice winter. Highs were in the 40s and 50s for that winter. It was nice. That's good to say that the normal high is like 20 degrees.
Listen, I think you bumped your head before we started this segment. There's no way. Welcome to the team, brother.
Thank you. Glad to meet you.
Check Henry out on the weekends here on WAFB. And don't forget about the C-Suite this Monday. Johnny Asian is going to be our guest, talking about all of his time in media and how he's really the preeminent traffic guy here in Baton Rouge. And we're also going to talk next week about the Human Services Division at City Parish Government. What they do for everyone here. We'll break it down with the director, Bernadine Mabry. There's all my contact information if you want to catch me on the socials, as the kids say. None of them say that, but I say that. There you go. You guys have a great weekend.